Welcome to the Talking TV with the TV guys.
Yes.
TV Week's Talking TV with the TV guys.
Patrick, we're talking TV, and something interesting happened on TV recently. With,
last week.
With R&B star / woman beater, Chris Brown. I don't even have to say alleged because it's...
Convicted woman beater, Chris Brown. Chris Brown, who, by the way...
not just a woman beater, a Rihanna beater.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chris Brown, by the way, before he did the beatdown on Rihanna, I was like, whatever, Chris Brown, take him or leave him, not my cup of tea, who cares? But then he does the beating on Rihanna, and here's the problem I have with everything that has happened. And people say, I was in the past, he's learned his lesson, but it's whatever. Here's the problem I have. At no point did he seem to be sorry for what he did. Mm-hmm. At no point was there I'm really sorry what I did was horrible. He's never said, like, what I did was a horrible thing, and I'm sorry for what I did, and I wish No, he's like, I want to put that incident behind me. And I'm just like, that means you've learned nothing. When you refer to it as that incident, you've learned nothing.
It reminds me of Mel Gibson. Because this is a similar situation. Remember, Mel Gibson was doing some interview, and the reporter brought it up, and he kind of brushed it off. Like, he got kind of visibly ticked off. Like, why am I talking about this?
Yeah.
Like, he's saying, look, I did all the necessary mea culpas.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not exactly the same as saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? Even if you're faking it, that's because, explain the story about what happened.
We got to back up. Tell what happened. So he's on Good Morning America with I think Robin Roberts was interviewing him, and she kept bringing up the whole topic. And
did you see the interview?
I did.
Yeah, I think she was bringing it up because she felt that she had a personal connection with him because she had interviewed him before, and she thought that they were friendly. Mm-hmm. She completely and utterly discounting the fact that Chris Brown is a douche.
Well, how much of a douche was revealed after the show.
Oh, even during, when she's interviewing, and he's like, and I'm like, you know what? You are such a reprehensible human being. You can't even, he's so self-centered, but it was just, and as I was watching it, I was like, you know what? This guy's just such, whatever sympathy you may have had for him, you're like, look, okay, his mother was beaten, and he just doesn't understand the ramifications, and as horrible as it is to say,
Dr. Phil wouldn't buy that.
No, Dr. Phil isn't a doctor, so when he gets a degree in something, he can have an opinion.
Good point.
He can have an opinion that should be respected. I don't pretend to be a doctor like Dr. Phil. But here's the thing, is that
I pretend to be a doctor like Dr. Laura.
I pretend to be a doctor like Dr. Love. No. So anyway, but the problem I had with Chris Brown was that, but the thing with Chris Brown is that, okay, his mother was beaten as he grew up, and that's what he saw. So whether you like it or not, that's why guys grow up and they'll beat women, because that's just the way the world works. That it's learned behavior, and you have to unlearn it. Chris Brown chose not to unlearn that behavior and chose to simply continue to be a douche. And it was very evident in that interview he was giving. And then what happened?
Well, then after the show, he had a temper tantrum. Went into the dressing room, smashed it up, was smashing things, throwing things.
Smashed the window.
Smashed the window, yes. And
the glass fell down to 41st Street or whatever it is, right? So somebody could have been horribly
you look at those
injured.
buildings, those are thick windows.
Somebody could have been, he threw a chair or something, obviously, or something else.
And the best part of this whole story is during this whole rampage,
he took his shirt off.
Not wearing a shirt. So that just goes to show you, kids, no matter how rich and famous and successful you are, you can still act like a drunken hillbilly on an episode of Cops.
That's right.
You can pretty much do the same thing.
And then he goes to his Twitter, and he's this how come people are bringing this up? It happened 2 years ago. I'm trying to move forward. And I'm like, you know why? Because you were convicted of beating a woman. And it wasn't just a beating. When the photos came out of the holy hell beating he laid on Rihanna. I mean, that's the other thing too, is, you've got this guy who's acting like a thug. He's a gangsta wannabe.
Right.
And then he wants to take no responsibility for his actions. And he said, how come Charlie Sheen gets away with all this stuff and I'm
Because Charlie Sheen doesn't beat up women. It's a different sort of a thing.
And yes, Charlie Sheen has put the knife to his ex-wife's
throat. And let's
alleged and all this stuff.
Okay.
But, and here's the difference between Chris Brown and Charlie Sheen. Chris Brown acts like what he's doing isn't wrong, has no
remorse.
Has no remorse for what he's done. Charlie Sheen comes out and he says, "Yeah, I've done crack, I've done rock, I was with a hooker, Charlie Sheen comes out and is very just, this is what I did. What do you want to do about it? Whereas Chris Brown is like, I want to put that incident behind me. I don't want to talk about, like, that's the difference.
And I'll tell you what else.
One guy knows who he is, knows what he did, and is remorseful. The other guy is just a jerk. Is a self-centered, entitled jerk.
And you got to understand that in today's showbiz world, you can very easily become known as that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, ask Pee Wee Herman.
Right.
These things can stick with you for a long time.
No pun intended.
I just got that. But to say, oh, that happened 2 years ago, that's, you know what, that's not a defense. And you know what, the thing about Chris Brown is he's not that famous.
Well, no, I was going to say...
He's famous, but he's not that famous. I think there's a large population of the general public out there who know him primarily as that dude who beat on Rihanna.
Yeah, but also keep in mind, Chris Brown's latest album's doing very well. He's had like 3 #1 hits on iTunes. Mm-hmm. So people are still supporting him as an artist, which is why I think he's so confused and why he feels so self-entitled. Because he's like, I got people out there who, love me and they're the fans and this... But... he thinks that because there's this small group of people who have forgiven him and listened to his music, that everybody should forgive him and just treat him like he's the victim. That's the other thing, too. He acts like he's the victim in all of this. No, you don't beat a woman so much so that the bruises on her head look like she's got horns growing out of her head. You don't beat on a woman, slam her face up against the dashboard repeatedly, and then claim you're the victim.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. And that's why people have problems with Chris Brown. Anyway, I have no opinion on the subject.
No, not at all.
I don't
And you know what? That's it for this one.
Yo.
That's another exciting episode. Woo! Right.
There's the Chris Brown. So in summation, do you think Chris Brown is in the wrong, or has he been wronged?
I think Chris Brown is. Chris Brown's ridiculous.
There you go. Thank you very much. Until next time, I'm Patrick Maliha. He's Brent Furtick, and together we are judging you.